The Amalfi Coast is one of the most sought after vacation spots in the world, and I recently went for a week to see if it lived up to the hype. Today I'll share with you guys how much it all costs, what you need to know before going, and most importantly, is it worth going to? I have been to places before that when I got there, I was like, wow, this looked cooler online. I really thought, oh my God, this is more beautiful in person. There's a reason everybody wants to go there. So first I'll go over my trip and how much I spent, and then some things that you should know before you go to the Amalfi Coast. So the total that I spent on my trip for about a week in the Amalfi Coast was about $4,000. Going into the trip, my flight from LAX to Naples was $1,500. You could probably get this a little bit cheaper. This is the time to use your travel points. Like, you could get this for free. When we landed, we took a private car from Naples to Positano. A private car is not the cheapest way to go, but it is the most convenient, and I thought the pricing was reasonable. It was $352 total, so split between me and my friend, $176 round trip. I've paid $176 to go from JFK to New York City before, one way, so I thought that was pretty reasonable. Other option you have is to take a ferry, and this is gonna be about $50 total each way, because you need to take a taxi from the Naples airport to the ferry port. Then you need to actually take the ferry, which is about $25. It's gonna take you like 2 hours. It is a little bit cheaper, but keep in mind your flight needs to land early enough in the day that the ferries are still running. And if you're not staying in Positano or Amalfi, you're gonna have to get on a bus after, and do you really wanna take 3 different modes of transportation after you've flown like 15 hours? I didn't wanna do that. The private car was well worth it. As far as accommodations, we stayed in a vacation rental in Praia, which is a town right next to Positano. It is a little bit less convenient if you want to spend a lot of time in Positano, but I thought it was very worth it because it was like half the cost of the vacation rentals in Positano. So our rental was $3,700 total, so I paid about $1,500 because one of my friends left a couple days early. It was basically 2 apartments, so it had this really big top floor unit with a huge bathroom, really nice ocean view, a whole kitchen, everything. And then the lower unit had 2 more bedrooms and 2 more bathrooms, so each of us on the trip had our own bedroom and bathroom, which was really nice. We also had a little kitchen. I felt like this was a really good value for the Amalfi Coast. The place was nice. It wasn't like super fancy, but it was definitely, good enough for me. It also had this patio, which was actually massive. It had an ocean view, loungers to sit on, and most importantly, a hot tub. From what I found online, this was about half the cost of what it would have been for a similar place in Positano. And I saved about $400 on the vacation rental because I booked it directly on the property management website. So I found the property manager's website. It was called Smack, like this. They have like 30 different vacation rentals, and I could vouch for them. It's legit. We booked it on there and it wasn't a scam. So check it out if you're looking to stay in Praia. You can save like 5 to 10% off if you just book it directly through the property manager, not on Airbnb. Activities was my third biggest expense. I spent $700 on things to do. So this ranged from beach clubs to a boat ride, a ferry to Capri, and then I just spent a couple days where I just went to the public beach and didn't really spend any money on excursions. The one I thought was really worth it was Luigi's in Capri. This beach club is beautiful. Oh my God, just look at the shots from a drone. So stunning, the way that it's set amongst this giant rock. It's 100 euros to get in, but it came with a 60 euro credit. Service here wasn't very good, but the food is good and the location's so beautiful. It's just very worth it. In contrast, we spent $300 per person on Arienzo Beach Club. Very expensive. It was nice, but I wouldn't really recommend it because there's really nice beach clubs for way less than this. We did spend a decent amount on water taxis. We found it was the most convenient way to get from Praia to Positano and Amalfi. It takes about 15 minutes and you get a really cool view the whole time. It can get a bit choppy, but overall it's a fun way to get around. It was usually about 70 euro each way, so split between my friends and I, we each paid like 15 euro each way, which we felt was pretty reasonable for how convenient it was. And if you're staying down by the water, this is the best way to get around because then you don't have to hike up to the road. Now the cheapest way to get around is the bus. It's only €1.30 to ride the bus. Like, it's so cheap, but it does get pretty packed and it takes a little bit longer. There are also taxis, but I wouldn't recommend taking them unless it's after 6 p.m. and the buses and ferries aren't running anymore because they are pretty expensive. They're like double the cost of a water taxi. The food is one of the best things about traveling in Italy, and it's more expensive than the food in the cities because this is a touristy area. I found that the entrees were typically $25 to $35. A glass of wine was about $10, but you could always find a pizza for like $15 or less. Most places have a cover charge that's going to be about €3 to €4. I found on average for dinner, I would spend $45 every night having an entree, the cover charge, one glass of wine, and then we would all split a dessert. And these were some of my favorite places in Priano to eat. They were all so delicious. I thought Il Parado was my favorite. It's really cool. It has this like cave bar inside. You should definitely check it out if you're in the area. So those were the main expenses. The things that were most worth it in my opinion were taking a ferry over to Capri and going to that beach club, and also doing a boat day. This was an Airbnb experience. This was so much fun. It was my favorite excursion, I would say. The best things to do if you're trying to go here but not spend a ton of money would be stay in a town that's outside of Positano. It's going to be a lot cheaper, and try and just take the bus because it's so cheap. It's like almost free. Overall, it's not a cheap place to travel to, but there are some things you can do to spend a little bit less. Now, some things I wish I knew before going. The first thing is there really are a ton of stairs, but there are some places that you can stay where you won't have to climb that many stairs. If you have bad knees or something, I would try and book in a place that's close to the water so you can just take water taxis and you won't have to hike as much each day. These are some hotels that I would book next time if I didn't want to climb stairs every day, because we had to do like 20 stories of stairs per day. Next thing you need to know is the Amalfi Coast is not just one little town, it's like 5 to 7 different little towns that you can visit. If you're staying in Positano, chances are you probably will want to go check out Amalfi or go check out Capri. No matter where you're staying, you probably will want to take a water taxi, a bus, or a ferry at some point. So just something to keep in mind and plan out. As cool as Positano is, it's kind of small, and I think after like 2 days, I would want to explore somewhere else. I feel like Priano, it's not really like worth going out of your way to go check it out because there's not as much there. If you do go check it out, I would go to Marina Di Praia. Like that was a stunning little beach area. Next thing I wish I knew is yes, the beaches are busy, but there is space available at the public beaches. TikTok really had me thinking there was going to be absolutely nowhere to sit and it was going to be just so packed everywhere. Sure, it was busy, but I don't know. The internet made me think it was going to be a lot worse, so I was pleasantly surprised. When it comes to the beaches, also, they are rocky. Like, the sand is not soft. The rocks are hitting your feet when you get out, and it does actually kind of hurt. So water shoes are an option. You can get some of those. I didn't, and I was fine. I just hurts for like 5 seconds when you get out, but it's fine. But just something that's good to know. I actually prefer the areas where you can just jump off a piece of concrete into the water, because then you don't have to deal with the rocks. You can jump in, it's kind of fun. Like 2 different days I went to public beaches, and I found that they were busy, but they weren't as crowded as I expected them to be. I also live in LA, so I'm used to beaches being pretty crowded. Despite what TikTok says, you can still find a spot on the beach. In Positano itself even, I found a spot on that public beach like in the middle of the day, so I didn't even get there early or anything. And it was a sandy area, so if you don't want to spend hundreds of dollars on a beach club, just bring a towel, you know, stop by a little market, grab some charcuterie stuff, and go have yourself a nice time on the public beach, because I did that 2 of the days, and it was just as fun as going to a beach club. And last thing you should know, if you do go to the island of Capri, make sure to make reservations in advance because restaurants and beach clubs do book up here. It's really actually pretty crowded over here. And also know that 2 of the most popular beach clubs are on the opposite side of the island as where the ferries drop you off. So it does take about 45 minutes to get over there with a combination of a taxi, and there's a part of the way that the taxi can't take you, so you have to hike down about 25 minutes. So that is how much my trip to the Amalfi Coast cost. Again, I thought it was well worth it. One of the most beautiful places I've ever been. My final words, you know, you can do this kind of on a budget, but this is a place you want to splurge. It's worth spending money on the boat excursion or the cooking class or 1 or 2 beach clubs. I really think it's going to make your trip more fun. That's going to be it for this video. If you've been to the Amalfi Coast and there was something you feel like I left out of this video, comment it down below so that people can read it and so that I know for next time I go there, I'm going to be checking out the comment section for sure. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!